What's going on, everybody? This is Rick from Studio Spades, and today I'm going to show you how the new master material overrides work. It's gotten quite an update, so yeah, let me just quickly show you how to do that. Let me first add a Blender Exploder tool, and then add a plane in this case, because I'm going to show you what the material overrides do, and I think a plane is the best way to demonstrate it in this case. But feel free to add your own object if you want to. Okay, let me just subdivide it a couple of times because it works with the new material selectors work with a Boolean selection, so we'll need a subdivided mesh for that. Let's add the object into Explorer tool by loading in the collection so that it appears back into your scene, and go to viewport shading so you can see the materials, of course. So master material overrides. Previous version only had one material, now you have two and a couple of options. So for the first material, I want to add one to the layer because we're using layer 1 in this case. So let's add a material here, and to do that, to add a material to the scene, I'm just going to add it to the Explorer tool itself. So let's call this red, for example, and because the master material has two slots, I'm going to create two additional materials, green and blue. Let me just rename everything because I like to work neatly. So go back to modifier, add the first material to the layer. So in this case, we're going to go for red, and you will see it pop up. And if you disable it like this, it'll disappear or reappear. So that's for the layers, but we have a master material as well. So let's add green and blue in this case. Now nothing happens because it's still disabled, but if you add material 1 here, it'll override everything because it's a master material override. So everything in the Explorer tool collection that you're loading up here, every object will turn, in this case, green. And if you turn on material 1+2, it'll mean that everything will turn blue in this case, because we're using the second material slot here. So 2 overrides 1. That's basically how it works, and 1 overrides everything as well. But if you're using 2, that'll be the last one. But let's go back to material 1 only, so green. We now have a selector dropdown, so you can use the selectors as well. So if we choose a noise selector, for example, and press play, noise will select which faces get overridden by the green one, and which not, which means that it'll reveal the red layer underneath. So green here is everything that's being overridden, and red isn't. So we can switch red to blue, for example, and back to red. That's basically how that override does with a selector enabled. And if you add material 1+2, we don't have a selector enabled yet, so blue will override everything, but you can use the selector here as well. So let's use the second one, and then we'll see that blue overrides everything based on the noise selection 2. Underneath that is green, being selected by noise selector 1, and underneath that is the original red. So this is a quick way to create 3 layers of materials. And this works on the denseness of your mesh. So you can go to modify geometry, for example, and subdivide it even more and get a sharper and clearer image at the cost of computing power. Of course, you can see the frame rate drop. But if you're using with simple meshes, this can be a great way to mix and match different materials. So pretty cool. And of course, as always, everything in Explorer tool is fully procedural. So if you Yeah, wait, can I just add it? If you add anything to the collection, yeah, the shaders get updated on that as well. Really cool. Maybe add another mesh since I'm busy anyway. Whoops. Add it to the collection. Boom. And that's how the new master material overrides work. Pretty simple, but a pretty cool effect. And now don't forget that this is only done with noise. We have many different selectors here. We could enable the normal selector, for example. So let's go to normal selector. Now everything seems to be disappearing, so I have to edit normal selector 1. Maybe turn off the loop for now and start sliding around the factor. And the normal selector selects based on the direction of the normals, of course. So it seems now that everything is pointing up since we're using the z-axis, x, y, and z. Oh, sorry. You can filter based on the direction of the normals. So don't be constricted by the fact that we're only using the noise selector in this tutorial. You can use any of these. And that's basically it. Quite simple, but quite powerful. And part of the new update that is called Blender Explorer Tool 2.17. It's out now on Blender Market. You can download the update for free if you own it already. And yeah, I hope you learned something. And until next time, take care.